Well, howdy everybody. It's just me here tonight at this moment. Oh, look at that. You can see behind me the printer going for it. Hell for leather. Okay, so what's happening at the moment is poor old Mark is stuck in traffic. He's still trying to get home. He will probably join us a little bit later. So in the meantime, I get to run the show solo. That's going to be interesting. Not sure if we got a lot to talk about. AI being the main conversation that's been going around this household for a little while. And the questions are, where is AI going to lead us down the track? And more to the point, is it going to be the death of us? One has to wonder. Sometimes one does. So effectively, we will just see what goes on and we'll talk. Hey, Margot, nice to see you in here. I'm glad to have you along. Once again, I want to bring up the fact that we have the VOF Lottery, which is our $750 lottery giveaway, which and this particular lottery, we've put back in the 1 gram, I wish it was 1 ounce, of gold. That would be fantastic. But so with this lottery, you've got a chance of winning $750. And also you have the chance of getting a gram of gold as a second prize. So please head over to merch.vofhq.com and you'll be able to purchase from there the tickets in the lottery, which would be a really great thing because all the lottery there actually goes, all the winnings, well, a percentage of the winnings goes there to help with VOF and FBN Media, as well as a percentage of that goes to the donkey sanctuary. And I believe they've now got 108 mouths to feed, so they were very happy because the last people who won actually donated half of their winnings to the donkey sanctuary, which was really, really fantastic. Now, let's have a look. AI. What do we have with AI? I've got a couple of things I want to bring up, so just give me half a second while I share a screen. I'm not particularly 100% set up today due to the fact that my family decided to pay a surprise visit. So I had a house full of kids here. So I am running behind majorly at this point in time. And where is that one gone? That's there. Let me put that over there and go full screen on that. And click there. Share that one and share. Okay, so there's a few things that have popped up. I started doing a bit of research on AI, as I said I was going to. And of course, what did I use to do some research on AI? But AI. So I'll bring that up and show you sort of the responses to that and a couple of the traps that it fell into as I was doing that sort of stuff. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you a couple of things that I've managed to pull out of X in the last little while. So let's go to add that to stage and let's go full screen and we will, hopefully you should be able to hear this with any light. I won't if I have the volume turned off. There we go. Let's go back here.
You're going to see it quick the rally into the end of the year. It really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral. You know, we're 10 weeks before the end of the year and the S&P is at 6,800. I think it's still a base case then for people to say that in just a typical year, the S&P should gain another 4%. That would put us over 7,000 into the end of the year. And I think that that's sort of the minimum. But because we've got the Fed cutting, the And they started in September. They've been on pause all year. That only happened twice in the last 50 years, which is 1998 and 2024. I actually think the S&P, given the skepticism that's been plaguing this market all year, we could do far better than 4%, maybe even 10% into year.
Wow. Okay, so where does crypto fit in, especially when you're looking at how those currencies are moving versus what's happening with tariff concerns, global trade concerns, etc.?
Crypto had a huge deleveraging event on October 10th, and part of that was triggered by the escalating tensions with U.S. and China on tariffs and trade. And that was the biggest liquidation event in 5 years for crypto. So there is still those ripple effects, 2 weeks later that are plaguing the crypto market. But I think we're almost through that, because a measure like something called open interest for both Ethereum and Bitcoin are at record lows at a time when the technicals for both Bitcoin and Ethereum are flipping positive. So I think you're going to see a crypto rally into the end of the year. And it really does help to see JP Morgan say they're open to the idea of using crypto as collateral.
Right. So what we see there is, once again, from that particular situation, the talk about that the crypto bull market is not over. The question being is, what do we look at investing in? And is this going to be a right segmented bull market? Is it going to go right into the middle of next year? Which at this stage, there's a few of the experts that are pointing that way. But most people are fearful of what's going on, because since our last little swing, crypto hasn't really changed a great deal in what it's been doing. Since that drop, we've seen it come up and down, and it's just sort of doing a stagnated little event at this stage. Now, as I always say, anything that I tell you here is not financial advice. Especially don't follow me when it comes to financial advice. I've probably lost more in crypto than I've gained, which is unfortunate, but it's all about the learning process, and that's where we go. We've got another piece in here from Bloomberg that I want to play you as well. If I just get that sorted, pause. And I'll put that back up at full screen, and let's see how we go with this one.
I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week, and that was the conversation. Should we have a 2% allocation? Do we have a 5% allocation? If everybody adopted that conversation, it would be 500,000, 600,000, 700,000 for Bitcoin. I was with a sovereign wealth fund during this week.
So we don't need to replay that, but see what he's saying there? The big institutions are looking or discussing how much allocation they're actually going to have in their systems for Bitcoin and other obvious bits and pieces. Yeah, I'm all alone today, Crunchy 80. I'm not actually. It's just that Mark is still stuck in traffic, so I had to go live, and I am just trying to do it. The video audio was low. My apologies on that. Thank you for telling me. That should be up full there. No, it's not. That's why. Okay, I found out the reason why. We also probably need to turn myself down a fraction there. But that should be doing it. Should be sorting that now. Okay. So do you guys have any questions, or have you guys done any research into AI at all over the last week? Remember, that was your homework from last week. Do some AI searching and see what goes on. I'm going to stop sharing that, and I need to add another screen. So give me 2 seconds while I'll organize that.
And that was the conversation. Should we have
a window? That's what I want to share. Share. Let's get out of that and minimize that. Sorry, I'm ducking behind my microphone here because it's just there in my head and I can't see what's going on. So what is going on at the moment with prices in crypto? Well, let's have a quick look at those and see what we've got. I'll just add this to the stage. That's not what... Oh, really? That's interesting. That's not what's supposed to happen. And I've taken myself off stage. Okay. Why is that the case? Let's just stop that screen share and let's try and do that again. All right, window, that one, share. All right, add to stage. There we go. Okay. So one thing I like, and this is just some of the ones that I'm following. This is a bit of my favorites list here. One of the things I bought some time ago was Finks, which is a meme coin for XRP. And it's actually very interesting. It's actually gone up quite significantly. I'm still running at $14 loss from what I initially purchased, but that's a nice change. But here we can see what's happening with Bitcoin. And let's look at Bitcoin in general over the last 7 days. All right, well, that's 7 days. Right, so what we can see here is it's going up and down a lot. We might go back for the month to see that better. Right, here we can see that we've got Bitcoin came up. This is where it got up around its 125. It's come back down due to that massive drop that we saw right down here. And now it's sort of just stabling along. Does this mean that Bitcoin itself is going to just trade like this on a permanent basis? Is it because we have institutions that come in? I saw somewhere that someone has bought $114 million of Bitcoin in the last week. So, yeah, that'll be interesting. What have we got here? Let me just add this up. Vince, if the US goes to war, what would the stock markets and the crypto markets would go up or crash? That's a good question. War is always a big money-making event for the big crew that want to do that. That's the deep state type marketplace and money makers. For us, then that would mean for the average person, I'm not sure. But maybe Mark has an idea because he's stuck his head into the screen just now. So I shall add him in. Hey, Mark.
How you going, mate? I finally made it. Apologies. Apologies.
That's right. You left me hanging on my own. So Crunchy just asked, what happens if the US goes to war? And what would that do to the stock market and the crypto market? Would it go up or would it crash? What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's what a question to rock straight up on that one. That's a heavy one straight off the bat. That's interesting. I guess it either goes two ways, doesn't it? It either goes up or it goes down. I would.
Well, that's a good choice, mate. It's going to do one or the other.
Pretty simple, isn't it? It's just what side of the fence do you want to sit on? I guess if the US goes to war with China, is that kind of the question? As in, are we talking world war?
Well, the only one that I can see in world war would be US and Russia. And if that happens, I don't think we'd be worrying too much about crypto because if the nuclear goes off, there ain't going to be a internet to use anyway, period.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at, that if it gets big, then, yeah, all bets are off. But I don't know, with war's an interesting thing. I mean, the Russia-Ukraine war didn't really affect the markets too badly, did it? The Palestine-Israeli didn't affect the markets too much. If US goes to war, I mean, they're at war all the time, right? They're always bombing somebody and doing something. So it's kind of, I'd still guess, I'd go things as normal. That's probably what I'd go with if it was a major war, or I mean not major war, but if it gets really big, then yeah, then all bets are off. I wouldn't even want to start guessing what happens because things could get a bit haywire. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a deep question that you could talk about that one for quite a while. What do you think? What were you saying before I popped in?
Well, I was saying it's always going to make money for the deep state, which is what that's all about. War is all about making money for them. They'll feed both sides of it to make it happen. But of course, if we went into nuclear, then yeah, we're screwed, period. Right, I don't even know if the planet will survive after that amount of nuclear fallout. But in that case, if we did survive, crypto won't be around because everything will be blown to shit. And then we'll be back to using other forms of trade like tomatoes, pumpkins, silver, gold, etc. So now I notice here that it says that 22 XRP spot EFTs are coming in. 11 XRP treasuries have been listed. Ripple has donated to Trump's ballroom, which they did, which I thought was really interesting. And ISO goes totally live in November 22. That was ages ago. Oh, no, November 22 this year. Oh, right. Okay. Which ISO? There are so many standards. So you have to be a little bit more specific on that, J11. You're our XRP guru. What have you found out, Mark?
I mean, that's pretty much correct. That's exactly what's going on. There's 22. I had 17 counts. Guys, my little son's just he's having a bad time.
Okay, you go do that. I'll take over for half a second. The joys of family, as I said, they come waltzing in today. So I basically had 5 of my 6 kids here today, just rocked in to say hello to Dad. They must all be concerned about the old man, what's happening to him, but never mind. In the case of nuclear fallout, right, Australia won't see or have an effect in Australia. I disagree with that. I believe that we will see a fallout from that, and it will have an effect on us. It may not be instantaneous, like we may survive more so as far as that, but we would certainly get radiation. Our infrastructures may stand up, like our internet infrastructures and bits and pieces, but everything that we connect to, all the big servers, all the big internet search engines, they're all stored overseas, and we only have cached options here in Australia. So once that goes down, that's going to significantly impact our ability on the net, just to let you know. And that's providing that the amount of EMP radiation that comes out of any of these nuclear devices, if there's any that come near us at all, could also have an effect on us. Understanding that the EMP has a smaller footprint than the actual explosion, probably. So that's just my understanding. Don't take that as for granted. And if we wonder why everyone's bringing up doom and death, the actual notice was, will AI be something great, or will it be our extinction? That was the title I put up, in case you're wondering, Mark.
That's a pretty good question. I've got an interesting answer for that one that gets long. I think that goes into the Q posts and all that kind of stuff. If you want to go down that route, it's there's a theory out there for the AI that what's going on now and the Q posts themselves are technically coming from and kind of all-seeing AI in the future. That is a good thing, a good AI, not that as in the good people won and we control the AI rather than the bad people won. And that's why we're seeing the change in the world happen now, because the AI was able to technically send back messages in a way to this timeline, and really? That's kind of how it was sort of seen. Which, if you look into which time travel is an interesting thing, but this isn't technically time travel. When you look at how it worked, it's sending electrical signals back, which is technically possible in a way. But yeah, that was the theory behind the when Q had all its followers, it split off into all these factions of people that thought they knew what was going on with Q, and I ended up in the faction that thought that Austin Steinbart and his crew of merry men were the people behind the Q posts stemming from DIA and D6 supposedly eventually. But yeah, the theory behind all that was that the AI that we see coming into society now eventually evolves into one that does kind of control what goes on in society, but it is a good people. I don't know. Do you say a protagonist? it's kind of the protagonist in the story rather than the being a negative thing. But yeah, that was an interesting thing that I always thought. And when you look at the world and how things are working and how things just happen with the good guys and the white hats, in that theory and that road of thinking, that it's quite possible that they do have help from an AI in the future that sort of sets us on the right path. Supposedly it's crunched the numbers. I think there's like movies about this where they crunch the numbers and they set you on the right path kind of thing, and everyone has to make the right choices to get on the right timeline. But whether that's a reality at the moment, it's going to be interesting to see. I say we just have to wait and see if it plays out.
Yeah, well, the only thing that comes to my brain is want to play a game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's a good movie, though.
Yeah, it is. For its time, yes, it was indeed. Now, yes, I'll bring this one back up again. Right, Vincent, I'll send you a video about it where she says that New Zealand and Australia are the safest countries in a nuclear fallout. I agree in that respect, right? But also understanding where Australia is at the moment as far as infrastructure and as far as our abilities to self-sustain, we are going to get affected badly if that was the case, right? Because we haven't been teaching our youth, we haven't been training our people how to self-sustain, we haven't got our own infrastructure. As I said, the internet infrastructure, once that's gone down, right, all those libraries of books that are on the internet won't be available to us. So it'll be learning by experience. So you need to be aware of that for starters. There will be some radiation because naturally we're going to get some fallout, right? And the winds surprisingly just don't work in the northern hemisphere, right? They actually come down to the southern hemisphere as well. So just saying. But yeah, that would be an interesting video. So feel free to send that through to me, Crunchy8. I'm sure you've got my email address. What's this one? The black and the white hats are taking orders from the same people. Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. So there's another point too. Once fuel goes down, we do too. That's a really valid point. At the moment, we have less than 3 weeks available fuel on in our country, and that's including the boats that are currently offshore. So that means that they would have to also bring their fuel in for us to have that full 3 weeks. So that one's a crunchy one. So yeah, sorry, Crunchy. That was a bit of a slice shot. Never mind. Getting back to AI though, because it's supposed to be about AI and this subject. So I thought I would go and ask AI just what it thinks would be a good option. And this is the result that it gave me. The question is, what are the most promising AI enterprises in the crypto space? And interestingly enough, if I can try and blow that up a bit for you guys, make it a bit bigger. There we go. Interesting enough, this is what it came up with. And there's a little trick here, or a little trap here, because at one stage I was investigating about smart meters and various technologies and bits and pieces, which I've got a whole show to do on Real Talk with Vince at some stage when I can motivate myself to do it. But because of that, the AI segregated this response to the fact that I was talking about IoT devices. Interesting how it did that automatically. So just a bit of trap. If you've been investigating something a lot in AI, then it's going to take your preferences into account when it gives you the answer. Just be aware of that. Right, so here it is. Right, the data cloud for decentralized AI. Notice that it said decentralized. I found that very interesting. I don't know if that's because it chose to do decentralized because I've obviously done investigations into decentralized bits and pieces. So this particular one here is one of its recommended ones. It's AI data collection infrastructure built on a blockchain-based storage and compute. They will provide a data hub for users to contribute data and compute for AI training and orchestration on the decentralized basis. Their architecture ties into the Web3 Layer 1 protocol and uses incentives for data providers. So that is where it's at. Worth watching. Decentralized AI data collection is a strong thematic one. One of the bottlenecks for large model is the data compute, and the blockchain can add provenance, trust, and incentives to it as well. Model touches both sides, data and compute, in the Web3 context. It aligns with the broader trend of AI and blockchains, oracles, transparency, decentralization, and compute. Can you carry on for there in a second, Mark? I need to grab a drink.
Yeah. So we've got the caveats and risks. So the decentralized AI is still more concept than proven large-scale business model. Tokenized economics, incentive alignment, regulatory concerns, data privacy, crypto regulation are all real issues. As with many crypto AI plays, the hype may run ahead of product traction. It's also got NOUS research. I don't think I can scroll his screen, so we're stuck there. So yeah, there's a few things there for the AI. I'll wait till he comes back to talk about that. What I will do, I'll go back to oh, he's back. Look at that.
He's back. Yeah, I just need to grab. Sorry, I was itchy throat. The next one, of course, on that was NOUS research. And they go through and give us the bits and pieces, the caveats, the risks. Then Tether holding. This one caught me a little bit by surprise that Tether is doing something with that, because Tether being a stable coin, how is that going to give you any money? I mean, you invest $1, you get $1 for stable. I've still got to work on stable coins and how you can make money in that. I have no idea how that's done. So worth watching. Render Network, of course, we all know, is one of the big ones in there and worth quite a bit as far as setting. They're all about AI, GPU computing, etc. Render is one of the top tier coins in the top 100. So that one's obviously something there. But what we're looking for is something that may be something that us poor people can afford to get into, right? And BitSensor is another one. So I did a little bit of investigating on these and found that some of them were already available. Let's have a look. All right. BitSensor. Look at the price on that one.
Whoa.
Right.
What's its supply? 21. Oh, it's got a Bitcoin supply. That's interesting. 21 million.
Yeah. And look at the circulating supply is only 9 million.
Yeah. So it's, yeah.
All right. And if we can see the prices on that, it's $3.87 right now. And this is the full time. So it's really only been out since March of 2023.
Yeah, it's doing very well.
2 years old.
It's
Yeah.
outpacing
very,
Bitcoin.
very well. Sorry?
It's outpacing Bitcoin. Bitcoin was around for 10 years before it hit these kinds of prices.
Right. And I think I've had challenges with other areas. I just got to switch that off. Finding the others has been a little bit more issues. The one down the bottom, which is Go, all right, I can't actually find on the system. So this has pulled out some information of various blockchains that are probably yet to come live. Now, the question becomes, do you go investing in something that is just starting, or do you go in something that is stable? And how do you work out what is the best options, right, to go with? Do you have any suggestions, Mark?
Oh, it's
Right.
that depends how much business degree you want to go. If you're a real business person, then you're going to want to check who's in the company, like who's creating everything, and then you're going to want to go and look at their the monetary side of things of who's funding everything, if you can. Other than that, you're looking at, it's a good theory. In the white paper is always a good place to start, like you've clicked on. It should explain who's doing what their theory is, and what they want to do with their token. But yeah, I mean, I got lucky with my stuff. I had some really, really smart people kind of point me in the right direction at the start, and when I was when I first got into things, and it made things a lot easier for me. So I didn't have to go through and crunch all the numbers, other than just check out kind of who were the main guys behind it. What is this theory, Vince?
Yeah.
What is there?
When you look at this and you go, yeah, that's really smart, but that's way much smarter than I am.
Yeah.
So
that's some pretty crazy mathematic equations going on there.
Indeed, but that's in their white paper, right? So one must ask the question, I don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah,
Is that
you
something
need a
that I'm going
degree?
to invest in?
Yeah, you'd need a mathematics degree just to understand the white paper,
right? So, right, and the whole thing is mathematical. I mean, yes, okay. So we're talking AI, we're talking computing, so it is mathematical by default. But even still, right, when you're searching for a project, what are you looking at when you go looking for projects or something that's going to happen in AI? What is one of the key features that you go looking for in a project? Does it solve a problem?
Yeah, it's kind of it's almost like the product at the store. Does it do what it says on the tin? And
yeah. I mean,
does it actually do what it's supposed to do? Does it solve the problem it's supposed to solve?
Yeah, if you're going to invest into a project, you need to know that it solves a problem. There's a need for it, and that's the big point. Is there a need for something, right? And you've got to work out if that need is there. Is there a solution to the problem? Is this the solution to the problem? That's going to be where you're going to invest your money, right? Like if we're going to go to Mars, we need to have tunnel borers. So yeah, I think we need to invest in tunnel borers. That sort of thing. Thank you, Elon Musk. But you get the idea, right? You've got to see past the whole thing. Now, AI is all about data and collection and numbers. What's the need? What is the need?
Data feeds an AI. Data. That's the thing about. That's one of the things about AI is that it lives on data. Without data, it can't survive. So it's sort of which gets into the whole sovereignty of our data thing, where we should be being paid. We need an internet bill of rights where we're getting paid for our data from everything that they're scraping off the internet for us. But the whole thing about AI is it needs our data to survive. So if you're getting into data farming, you're getting into tokens that are farming data or looking at that, it's like that's a pretty healthy market to get into, because that's what's going to be that's where we're going in the future of all this stuff, because AI needs the data to survive. So if you can get into, there was a comment last week that we looked at. Someone said that Jake Claver is speaking about what the new markets are going to be to get into, and it's AI, data, and there was another one there. I can't remember what they said. If you made that comment last week, please remind me of what you said. It was I remember the comment, but I can't remember exactly what you said. It was a great comment because you're spot on. That's exactly what we're talking about tonight. That these are the new markets that we need to get into and start looking at. And AI, I think AI is perfect. I think you're all over it, Vince, with that one. It's just a matter of now identifying a few tokens that will be strong. $378 a pop. Oh, Won't be collecting too many of those in a hurry, will you? You'll be able to. That's what you would have hoped it was still 10 cents, don't you?
Yeah. So this is the current AI narrative as according to crypto banter bubbles. All right. So these are the ones that are somewhere in the AI narrative. Now you'll notice that what's not showing up was those ones that I was looking for. Let's just have a look, see if Go is there. And it's not. Interesting. So where did ChatGPT pull it from as a point of measure? But anyway, even still, of these ones, what would be the best options? Virtual. Do you know about virtual? Do you know about game or COAI? Right, these are the bigger ones in the play. Virtual's been around for a while, actually. So that is the growth of virtual over a day. Let's have a look at it over a month. All right, let's look at it over a year. So it started off at its peak back in December of 2024. It was up somewhere around January 25, $4 something, and it dropped right back down and now is back up on increase. So what is it about? All right. And in the band of bubbles, it gives you a bit of a read up on what it is. It also gives you the options to see what is. So here I see straight away that it has 3 different base. So it's cross-platforming. It's on Ethereum, Solana, and Base. So that's interesting. That catches my attention straight away because it's just not on one layer 1 system. Very interesting about that. It's ranked 103. Its market cap is only 778 billion or million. Sorry, 778 million. Fully diluted, well over $1 billion. What else does it tell us about it? And it also gives us the options, the official links down there to it. So we've got a World Wide Web. Let's see if we can open that up and see what happens when we do that. Maybe we can't. It's going to make me do it the hard way. Oh, it automatically opened. Virtual protocol. Ah. Interesting. AI agents. So it's taking me into AI agents and a chart system. That's not where I actually expected to land. That is actually a decentralized or a centralized exchange that's going on there.
Huh.
So yeah, very interesting. Right, you can get to the X feed and various others. And this here looks like it might say white paper. Let's have a look. Oh, it is a white paper about virtuals. Now, this is more like it because we're actually able to go through here and have a good read of what it's about and work out whether or not there is a reason for using virtuals and what it can do. So this is all about using virtual machines, if I'm correct, using blockchain and virtual machines. So, and those agents on those virtual machines being able to take care of certain necessities, like, for instance, answering the phone and getting a taxi and putting 4 or 5 people out of job. Oh, whoops, did I say that? Yes, I did, because that's just happened recently in our area, right, where the person answering the phone is no longer a person, but a computer. And it asks you what your name is, where you want to be picked up from, where you want to go, and then it directs the taxi. Now, taxis are a 24/7 thing, right? So you think about that. If there's 8-hour shifts, right, that means that 3 people a day just went without a job. And that's not to mention the weekends as well. So is it our extinction or is it to our benefit? See where I'm leading with that? Click on the game one after virtual. Game one after virtual. Oh, okay. Someone wants me to look at the game one. Okay, so we'll do that. Click on that one. All right, so this is game. Let's go back over a year. Let's have a look what happened. 36. right? Pretty much sitting at nothing until now. What's happened in the last day? It's done a fairly decent jump up,
So
3.7 cents,
that's
3.05. So not a lot of movement in that. It looks bad on the chart, but it's really not. Let's go back to the week. Gives us a bit of a better idea on it. Now, what do we got down here? A website, X, and Medium. I'm not sure what that one is. Oh, only one way to find out. Click the button.
It's got a billion tokens.
Right, there we go. So now we can see. And it looks like it is Ethereum based. Maybe, or is that base? That might actually be base. Yeah, it is. It is the base ecosystem. I was right. So, and once you've got to this link, of course, then you can go down and find out various other bits and pieces from it. Artificial intelligence. It also falls into virtual protocol, Binance Alpha Spotlight, and AI framework as part of its categories that it falls into. They have obviously Twitter and X and Twitter both on there, and it is gamed by virtuals. So it gives you a bit of an idea. The two are interlinked, just to give you some sort of discussion on that. Let's go back to Banter Bubbles again. What else have we got? MPC, Vince, click on one after games. Yeah, MPC, MCP, AI payments. What do you mean, Jay? What are you talking about there, mate? Just try and elaborate a bit. Is that a particular one? Can't find anything in that. Nothing matching that, at least. You got anything that you want to bring up or raise, Mark?
No, you're way more over the AI stuff than I am. I haven't really done a lot of research in the AI sector, to be
more
honest.
over it.
Other than Theta, is in that one, even though it's down. I know Theta's a decent one that's been around for a long time. It'd be something to definitely research a bit more if you were looking to get into those tokens. Would be number one on my list that I would be looking at, only because it's one of the only ones I recognize because it's been around for quite a while now. From back in the day, and I think it reached like some pretty like $11, $12 or something like that. It did pretty well for how many tokens were around.
I think there's going to be a few that jump up like that in this sector. I believe a lot of this will run on the next investment sector is going to be in AI. And it's about whether we're smart enough to be able to choose the right platforms. In particular, Heart here is one of the ones that I invested in a little while ago, which obviously, well, I probably bought it up around here somewhere and then it went down here somewhere because that's my typical buying habit. I buy it at the wrong spot and let it sink. So that's normal for me. And surprisingly enough, I must have thought it was reasonably good because it's on the Ethereum ecosystem, and you all know what I think about ETH. So, I don't spend money on ETH unless I have to. But this particular one is all about trying to identify a way, or having a way of identifying that you are actually the human being on the internet, not a bot.
Interesting.
Right? So how they're going to do that, I don't know. But I hate ETH, not the protocol ETH. I hate the fees that come with ETH, just to be fair. All right. Especially for the people who aren't shifting hundreds of thousands of dollars and around, and you're shifting $50 and it costs you $20 to do it. Not worth it. All right. So, but anyway, getting back to this. So that's the one of those that I'm looking at there. I bought some in that because I think that's going to have a need down the track. How do we identify that I am a real human being, right? And does that then extend to our FaceTime calls? and those sort of things, or messenger calls. Are we talking to a real person on the other end? So this is what I mean. There's a need for this, and I believe that this is one of those places where you're going to get a chance to actually go, yeah, there's a need, and here's a possible solution. Is it the one that's going to win? I don't know, but it's a solution. So it's, once again, it's identifying the need and identifying the solution. Vince, why is Mark so quiet today? It's because I'm talking too much. Or why? Oh, what's this? Or because Mark's wife's in the house. Yeah, we got away with a big thing last week. I don't think we're going to get away with it this week.
Yeah, we won't get it. More only because my young fella's having a time. I think he's sort of my other half's on holiday, so she would have been quite relaxed, I think, tonight. It's just the little fella. My little fella's like going bananas. I think he wants to play with me. And he's sort of running through the house, making quite a lot of sound at the moment. But we're doing all right. Yeah. Other than that, yeah. Vince is the AI expert compared to me. I don't really know. If I was going to start talking a whole lot about AI to you, I'd be telling you a whole lot of bunk that that I don't really understand.
Well, you know what an expert is, don't you, Mark? An ex is a has-been, and a spurt is a drip under pressure.
Professional? Can I say professional?
Can't even call me that. I am an amateur in this game. Okay, yes, I do understand computing and I understand that, but I am but an amateur when it comes to dealing with AI, its bits and pieces. So what I would suggest, if you're going to be looking at investing anything into crypto, assuming that the world doesn't come to an end and we don't all get blown up or hit by an asteroid or being visited by space aliens or there's so many ors nowadays. This is a good place to go. Go to Banter Bubbles. I'll actually grab that and I'll stick that in the comments so that people can go to the location. Right, come up to the top section here, which is the filter. Go to the narratives and then go to artificial intelligence. You can see I've got selected there. Now that you've got that, you can go through here and you can start picking on some of these and do some research. And I do mean do some research. Find out what the general narrative is. What are they trying to fix? I mean, they all want data. That's known. Data collection, that's also a given. And, our super supreme lords and beings who want to master over us are going to try and do that in one format or another, digital ID, etc. And I do suggest anybody gets a chance, have a look at myplaceaustralia.org. There is a 11th of the 11th protest thing that's going on there, which is basically depriving the big companies of their businesses and money and cash for 11 days after the 11th in remembrance of the people who fought for our freedom. So I would suggest you go and have a look at that. But getting back to here, this is a good place to go in and do some research to say, yeah, okay, I understand what they're aiming at here. Look at it and say, is there really a need for this? Because people will invent a solution and then make the need for it, right? But is there already a need for it, right? Versus this is the solution for it. I mean, having unbanked, for instance, with one of the things that caught my attention initially with Electronium was that they had a need. They were supplying the unbanked, and there were thousands upon millions of people in Africa who were unbanked. And apparently there's now another 86 million in, North Korea or somewhere that just recently got debanked because they wouldn't do digital ID.
Was it Vietnam?
Vietnam, maybe. Yeah. Right. So Coinbase just announced the use of
Or was it the Philippines? Was it the Philippines? I can't remember. Apologies.
Yeah, no, me either. There's so much news happening. Coinbase just announced the use of MCP's AI for payments. It's cheap as at the base level. Okay. I'll have to go find that article. Thanks for that, J1. But MCP, MCPs. I keep getting that mixed up because gaming and players, they're NCPs. It doesn't matter. Don't worry about me. Too much shit going on in my head at this stage. But effectively, do your research is what I'm saying. It's up to you to go and look at it and see what's going on. What do we got? Use Coinbase and Binance as well as some Aussie places like CoinSpot. Thanks to Vince. Oh, no worries, mate. You joined up on CoinSpot. Good on you. Understanding that that's fully registered, and our links are below if you want to go and find a couple of Australian sites that you can purchase your crypto on. That would be the place to do it. It's nearly 52 minutes in, and I've talked a lot, and Mark has talked nothing. Have you got anything for us, Mark?
Have we got anything? Oh, I'd have to have a quick look. I haven't spoken much at all, have I? I know. I did have something saved, but there wasn't a whole lot going on in the news this week when it came to crypto.
Okay.
It was kind of slow.
Question for you. Do you believe that the government shutdown in the US is causing an issue to the markets?
Not really.
No?
No, I don't think. I think it's bigger than that. I think that the markets are much bigger than that. And they're kind of propped up. They've been propping them up on everything false for so long that if they let the government shutdown affect it, then the jig would be up in a way, I think. I don't think that's I don't know. I think it's a much bigger game than that. Yeah, the shutdown's an interesting thing, though, isn't it? It's because it's continuing to go on. Are they just trying to throw as many? They've run out of things to do, and they're trying to throw in as many roadblocks in front of Trump as they can. Is that their play? I don't really.
No, I think it's just that the left's being idiots, and they're just trying to take down Trump, and they're failing badly. Personally, that's my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I can say there's been some news about pump and a token swap. Oh, that's something I should talk about too.
There was
Companies that constantly change their tokens, stay away from. Because every time they do a change of their token or divide of their token, you lose value. I know that because I lost heaps in some. So if people start changing their token names and their bits and pieces and their token values, like, you had 400,000 of these, and then all of a sudden it's now only 4,000, right? Because they did a token deal. Just be aware of those types of companies, okay? So you need to be aware of that, and hopefully some stage, as we get more educated, I'll be able to educate you on how that occurs. But still, sorry, carry on, Mark.
No, you're all right, mate. There was one thing in the news that I did see that was interesting, and I hope I can find the rest of the story because it's probably just as interesting as the story itself. I'll share my screen with you. See if you can grab that one. This was posted by Nathaniel C.J. Rothschild, who I'm not sure is an actual Rothschild or not, but he's an interesting guy to follow when it comes to crypto. What the F is going on? Justin, President Trump says he pardoned Binance founder CZ because he wasn't guilty and was persecuted by the Biden administration.
Correct.
There's another backstory of this where people said why he actually it wasn't just that reason. There was another reason, but I'll see if I can quickly find it. But I'll play you the clip of Trump. If it'll play, is it going to play for me?
It's playing. It sounds turned on.
Are you talking about the crypto person? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 months in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything. That what he did, well, you don't know much about crypto. You know nothing about nothing. You fake news. But let me just tell you, he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know him. I don't believe I've ever met him. but I've been told by a lot of support. He had a lot of support, and they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime. That he was persecuted by the Biden administration, and so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people. People say
Well,
that.
so it's actually true. He did give a pardon.
Yeah, he did it, and I've got to find the rest of the. I couldn't. I didn't save the clip. I was sorry. Sorry, guys. I've been a terrible host. I didn't. I was so busy with work. I didn't save the clip. But
Well, they went after him for the transfer of illegal funds from memory.
Yeah, but it was. They reckon he actually pardoned him because it's got something to do, possibly. I think it's the stablecoin things coming up that America wants to start using stablecoins. That I think it's got something to do with that. But and they kind of need Binance. They need that that trading platform to do everything they're doing. But I'm not sure. I can't remember if that was the exact answer, so don't take my word for that. But yeah, there's a bit of a backstory to why he actually did it. So yeah, it's an interesting one, that. But yeah, Trump out pardoning people and calling them fake news, fake news to their face, which is pretty good. He's getting very upfront with his comments to the news and stuff lately, isn't he?
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well, I think that's a good thing in respect. I think someone needs to tell these people, oh, look, what are you, a pimp or a newsman? Which one are you?
Oh, this was another good one too. One of the best trolls in the world. We've got. So this is Hillary's comment about the White House being demolished, and Hillary says, it's not his house, it's your house, and he's destroying it. And Donald replies, I may name it the Monica Lewinsky Ballroom.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He's pretty
Most
good.
of the older generation will get that joke. I love him, man. Honestly. He's not your typical bullshit president. He says it as it is. So
yeah,
if only we could get that for our elbows sleazy, that would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, he's a waste of space. I like the picture of him in the Joy Division shirt at the moment, coming off the plane. He's disgusting. Anyway,
with 40 seconds left on the clock before we hit our 1 minute, our 1 hour. The question: will AI be a benefit to us, or will it bring our extinction?
I'm going to say benefit. It has to be.
You're going to say benefit.
Otherwise, what are we here for? What are we doing? We may as well pack up now. What's everyone? Yeah, we got help us. Crunchy says help us.
Yep.
What do you reckon? What are you saying?
I don't like some of the things that it brings into play, right? If it is going to be a benefit, there will be times where you're going to be looking at a universal type income, because there'll be so many people who won't be working because AI has taken their jobs, which makes makes people lazy, right? Because they're not going to have anything to drive, no drive to go out and do anything. So in that respect, I find that as a downside. Do I think it's going to be our extinction? No. Right. And that's only because the Christian side of me says that there's 1,000 years of peace after all this shit happens. So, yeah, but that's where my faith sits in there, right? So, but yeah, I think AI is going to be a challenge, and we need to find things that people can do that AI can't do. And that's going to be even more challenging. So, with that, that's my answer.
I think you're 100% correct in that answer. I just think there's also the big possibility that we can see a positive out of some of that change, where, say, there's a whole heap of people that don't have to go and grind at some shit job that they hate and hate life and all that kind of being a slave, as was just flashed up on the screen. Although I know you don't mean it like that. I know you mean the complete opposite of what I'm saying.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, I think maybe we could see where people are able to to use their imagination a bit more, as in what can I give to this earth, and what can I give to my society, rather than just sit around and live off nothing. I don't know. You're still going to have to make a living, I think. I don't know if you're going to get it all for free, unless we get paid a hell of a lot of money for our data and we get to sit around and do nothing off being paid for our data. But I think we get to a point where it's going to free us up to where we don't have to do the really crappy tasks as much, and we can maybe live in a place where we can go and do something more positive. But I don't know. That could be wishful thinking, but I'm only 41, so I've got so much time to live on this planet that if it goes the wrong way, it's going to be really crap. So I've got to think positively. Otherwise, it's let's pack up now and just go home.
Yeah, well, I don't have quite that amount. A supercomputer called the Collagra is powerful, large, typical machine. Okay, I'll look into that one. Crunchy, I've got that up now. So
J11 says we will all be Matrix battery packs to feed the data centers, which is pretty. Yeah, it could go that way too.
Well, effectively, yeah, we are, because that's what we need. They need our data. Well, we're just not physically connected, as in the Matrix. All right, guys. Now next week it may be a Sunday, right? I have to still discuss that with Mark, but it's Halloween, I believe, next week.
Oh.
Right? And of course, my kids who don't have a license have got me driving them all over the bloody state. So I've got to go to Adelaide, which is a good hour and a half away, and drop people off. So maybe back in time for a show. If not, it'll be on the Sunday, right? And hopefully it'll be in the late afternoon or late evening on the Sunday, due to the fact that I have to go back to Adelaide and pick them all up. Anyway, either or, you're welcome to come and have a chat with us. I don't know what subject we will discuss next week. Me and Mark will have a bit of a discussion in a minute after we finish this, and we'll see if there is something that we think might be relative that we can bring to your attention about crypto and about living and surviving and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so with that, I'm going to say good night, and Mark is going to say something.
Never give up, guys. Never give up. Keep pushing.
All right.
Don't let AI ruin your life. Think positively.
I think that was a dig at me, but in all cases, right? In all cases, invest wisely and keep the faith. All right, night, guys.